Hot and dry, too cold and wet, but we are working on that. It's up to 100 degrees back home in Las Vegas, in Pahrump, where we live. And it was still 90 degrees last night. My friend texted me at 10:30, and so it's not cooling off too fast. So we're glad to be away from 100-degree temperatures. I was glad to hear that you started a food program. I'm glad that we were able to be here for the second time that you did this, and to see how well planned you have done it. We are still doing our food program out in Pahrump. Been doing that for several years. Now we pick up from the grocery store 7 days a week at 6:30 in the morning, and we bring it to the church. And it is sorted because it's all fresh vegetables and fruit. And it's not only church members that help work there are others. The lady in charge is named Similai. She's a Samoan lady, and I don't even know what church she's affiliated with, but she is a good Christian lady, and she's the one in charge 4 mornings a week, which is Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. People come, get a number like they do here, and they wait till we sort the food, and we put it in boxes. We don't let them come and pick it up like you do here. But we probably give out about 120 boxes a week. 2 mornings a week. A couple of gentlemen come and get the food, pick it up, and deliver it to some of their special people that need help. On Sabbath morning, we have to pick it up, and we put it in the back room, and during church, they announce, well, after church is over, you can go back and help yourself to the farmer's market, because there's food back there that everybody can take home with them. What we don't use, they use it the next day. Smith's grocery store does donate money to us. We just got $1,500 from them before we left. And they do that 2 or 3 times a year, which comes in very handy. Vern and I help on Fridays. We used to help 4 times a week, but we got enough volunteers, so we only go in 1 morning a week and help them once in a while. And sometimes it's maybe once every 3 or 4 weeks. We're donated 300 loaves of bread. Now you have to have a place to put 300 loaves of bread. And we have 2 deep freezers at our church, one an upright and one a chest high. And one of the church members has a freezer that they keep empty for us to put in the bread. And so we donate that to the people. There is a place in Vegas called 3 Square. And we can go down there. They will deliver sometimes, but usually we go down there. There are some canned goods, things that we don't get from the grocery store. Toilet paper goods. Some things we just have to pay just a little bit for. And they bring that up, and about once a week we pass that out and put that in the boxes. The grocery store once a week goes through its freezer, and they bring in ice cream and fish and little frozen dinners and frozen beverages like orange juice and lemonade and things like that. So we pass those out. So we are very, very blessed to get all that help, and we do appreciate all that we get. I want to tell you a little bit about our Christmas run. The bikers have charge of that, but they come into our church and set up, and we gave away 100 turkeys. These are donated mostly, or money to buy them, because we don't have any extra money for something like that. They did it in 2 Sundays this last year. One Sunday, the first Sunday, they did 36 homes. And this is a long lineup. They line up in front of our church. These bikers, they come in from Vegas or all around, and they line up in front of our church. We have boxes of food for each home that we go to. Turkey, the trimmings, everything they need for a Christmas dinner. And then if they have children, they have bought gifts for the children and a wrap, and so there's a box that goes to that home too if they have children. And we are donated bicycles, and so if there's a child in need of a bicycle. So there's quite a lineup, and they tell the police ahead of time that this is what they're going to do, so there won't be a problem that way. They went to 36 homes the first Sunday, and the second Sunday just before Christmas they went to 29 homes. Plus, between Christmas and New Year's, they received some more names, and so they delivered about 15 more. So it was 100 boxes that was given out, which was a blessing. We still have our little Bible study. Vern is in charge on Thursday afternoons, but first we play dominoes. From 1 to 2:30, we play dominoes. And we have about 8 church members, or whoever wants to come in and play. And then we go into our Bible study at 2:30, and that's from 2:30 to 3:30. And then there's probably 4 or 5 people that come in. They don't want to play dominoes, but they want to come for our Bible study. And we're studying now the book of Revelation. So that's a pretty deep study for Revelation. I guess I told you we have a schedule. We have no bulletins. The clerk, who wears many hats, like your clerk here, makes out a calendar every month, and it tells what's going on that month. The first Sabbath, is Vern's Sabbath, and he has to preach on that Sabbath. The second Sabbath is the head elder's Sabbath, and he has charge of that. The third Sabbath, we have our little praise team, our musical group, and they have the third Sabbath. Fourth Sabbath, we have the pastor. We only get him once a month. He lives in Vegas. He has a church in Vegas, and then he has the 2 churches in Pahrump. I think I've told you there is an Adventist church in Pahrump besides our outreach church. And so he is in charge of that one too. Of course, he says he likes to come to our church, yes, because he doesn't have to wear a suit. We're all casual. Nobody wears suits. Nobody dresses up. Everybody comes as they want. And that's the way they want to keep it, because there are people that want to go to church but do not have dress-up clothes, do not have suits, do not have good clothes, and they feel welcome in our church and at home. And that's the way we want to keep it that way, I guess. Because it does, we have people come in, they'll stay for a while, and then they'll move on. But I hope that they get a blessing from spending time with us. Our praise team is consisted of 3 members. Danny is the youngest, and he plays the drums. And he plays the ukulele, isn't it? No. Banjo. Plays a banjo and a guitar. Jim plays the guitar, and Mike plays the bass guitar. And between our Bible study, which we call Bible study, we do not use the quarterly like most Sabbath schools do. We use studies.
Bible readings.
Home readings for the, no, what is it?
Bible readings for the home.
There you go. And we're almost through the book, and we've been through it already once, and so I don't know what the plan is by the time we get back, what they're going to plan for the next time. But they do have a little time between our Bible study and our going into our church service part, and they play some music then too, and which we enjoy. On the 5th Sabbath, usually we have a gift. If there is 5 Sabbaths, we either have a guest speaker, or 2 of those Sabbaths we try to have communion. And we'd like to do it oftener than 2 times, but so far we haven't been able to work that out. The other church invited us over, about a month ago for an afternoon program. There's a little academy up in southeastern Utah. I'm thinking the name is Daystar, but it's something like that. And it's near Moab, Utah. And they come down, they go to Vegas, they put on programs at some of the churches in Vegas, and then they came out to Pahrump and gave this program. There's only 20 students in this academy, and it's a self-supporting one. The children, they played the bells. They set up and they had the bells, they played the bells, they sang, they told about, they come from all over, and how they ever hear about this little academy, I don't know, but they came in 2 vans, the principal and his wife, and then the music director and his wife brought them. And they did such a nice job. And they come down, I don't know, we heard them once before. They had 26 students 3 or 4 years ago when they came down. But now this year they only have 20. And Vern asked how they made it when a lot of academies are closing. And the principal said, well, if you got an hour, we could sit down and I'll tell you how we worked that out. But I think it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. We do not stick to our schedule too well for church. We have the praise team till about 11:15. Then we have announcements. Then we have the children's story, and we have a children's story whether there's children or not, because we're all children at heart anyway. And so we always have a children's story. And then they had the wheelbarrow, where if there are children there, they go around with their little cans, and you put your change in, and that's used for the food program. And then we have caring and sharing. And our head elder says that is the most important part of our church service. He has someone take the microphone, and they go around. And sometimes that caring and sharing will last a half hour. Usually it's 12 o'clock before we even get started with our sermon or whatever the program is for that day. But it is a very important part of our service. And I want to tell you a little bit about Tina. She has kind of latched on to Vern and I. This girl and her brother were raised by her grandparents because her parents did not want them. Did not want to take care of them, didn't want to raise them. And so they turned them over to their grandparents. And she lived with them until she was into high school. She's a special needs child. She can read, she can do a lot of things, but her thinking is more juvenile. She's 20 years old now, but it's more like a teenager, her thinking. She was living with her aunt and uncle, and she snuck out one night and got married to this man that I don't know that she hardly knew. But they are living in a little 16-foot trailer, hardly room to turn around in. And she's pregnant now and had morning sickness so bad that she was calling the paramedics and going to the emergency room at least twice a week. And then she would call us to come and get her. She had no way to get back to her home. And if she had to go to the doctor, she'd call Vern and I, and we would take her to the doctor. Then she got to calling us and saying, can you come to Megan's house and take us to the park? And so we had to kind of draw a line there. I told her that her and her friends needed to learn how to drive, because we aren't going to be there to help her out all the time. And I know what she's doing while we're gone. But I just hope that everything works out for them. So far, things are going well, just that they need to get a bigger home. I want to tell you about a biker that a few years ago he came and helped with food. Big man. Tattoos on his arms. Looked kind of rough, but he wasn't, and mean, but he wasn't. He was very friendly and nice. And one day I went up and I said, well, what's going on with you? And he said, you don't want to know. He had been in prison before, and I didn't know that. And that probably wasn't the question to ask him. But, you know, he just kind of grins, you don't want to know. So then he disappeared, and I didn't know where he went, and I asked Fred, our head of I said, what happened to Bam? And he said, well, he went up north. Well, up north, I didn't know what that meant. Some people, when they go up north from Pahrump, they go to Oregon or Washington. Some people go up to Reno, which is north. Well, then there's the prison up north at Ely, so it could have been there too, but I didn't know where it went. And then this last winter, I was in the kitchen between Sabbath school and church, and the back door opened, and Bam walked in with a friend, and had hugs, and so happy to see him, so happy to see me, and I said, well, we haven't seen you for a while. No, he says, been up north, whatever that still meant, because I didn't know, find out. And I said, I'm glad you took time. He said, I had to come down here for some reason. He didn't say. And he said, I just wanted to stop in and spend some time with Jesus at our church. And I looked at him and I said, we all need to spend some time with Jesus. Amen. And so I hope this morning that's why you're here, to spend some time with Jesus. Thank you.